In the year 1500, Europe believed in one simple rule. Knights were born to rule, and peasants were born to obey. Armored warriors on war horses were unstoppable. Farmers with pitchforks and farm tools were nothing. But on a cold winter day in northern Germany, something impossible happened. A group of poor peasants faced one of the strongest knight armies in Europe. And they didn't just survive. They destroyed them. This is the shocking true story of the Battle of Hemmingstedt. A battle that proved intelligence can defeat power, and ordinary people can change history forever. And what happened in the final moments of this battle shocked even the victors, so stay till the end. To understand this battle, we must go back to medieval Europe. Society was divided into three classes: nobles who ruled, clergy who prayed, and peasants who worked and suffered. Knights were elite warriors, trained from childhood, protected by steel armor, and supported by powerful lords. Peasants, on the other hand, were farmers, fishermen, and laborers. Most could not read, could not fight, and had no political power. But in the marshy lands of Dithmarschen, something unusual existed. These peasants were free farmers. They governed themselves, defended their land, and refused to bow to feudal lords. This independence made powerful nobles furious, and in 1500, they decided to crush the peasants once and for all. Duke John and Duke Frederick of Holstein gathered a massive army. Thousands of knights, professional soldiers, and mercenaries marched toward Dithmarschen. They believed victory would be easy. The peasants had no castles, no professional army, no noble commanders. But the peasants had something far more powerful. They knew the land. They knew the marshes, the narrow paths, the flooded fields, and they had one leader, Wolf Icebrand, a farmer, not a knight, not a noble, just a man who refused to surrender. Hemmingstedt was not a grand battlefield. It was mud, water, narrow roads, and cold winter air. The peasants destroyed dikes, flooded the land, and forced the knight army into a narrow causeway. The knights, in heavy armor, riding large horses, moved slowly through mud and water. The peasants waited, hidden behind earthworks, armed with spears, crossbows, and farm tools. This was not a fair fight. This was a trap. When the knights advanced, chaos erupted. Crossbow bolts rained down. Spears stabbed through armor gaps. Horses slipped in the mud, throwing riders to the ground. Knights, once feared across Europe, were trapped, drowning, or crushed in narrow paths. The peasants pushed forward with fury. They fought not for glory but for their homes, families, and freedom. And then came the moment that shocked Europe. The knight army broke. They ran. Many drowned. Many were killed. The peasants had won. Farmers had defeated Europe's elite knights. The victory of Hemmingstedt spread across Europe like wildfire. Nobles were terrified. If peasants could defeat knights, what else was possible? The battle became a symbol, a warning, and an inspiration. It showed that strategy, unity, and terrain could defeat the strongest armies. And it marked the beginning of the end for the age of knights. Hemmingstedt changed warfare forever. It proved that armored knights were no longer invincible. Soon, guns, cannons, and organized infantry would replace medieval cavalry. But more importantly, it proved something timeless. power does not always belong to the powerful. Sometimes it belongs to the people who refuse to give up. The peasants of Dithmarschen were not kings, not nobles, not legends in shining armor. They were ordinary people who stood against impossible odds, and in doing so, they carved their names into history forever. The Battle of Henningsted reminds us that courage and intelligence can change the world, even when the world believes you are powerless. If you enjoyed this epic documentary, subscribe to Ancient Secrets for more hidden and powerful stories from history. Don't forget to like this video, click the bell icon, and watch our daily historical documentaries. Because here on Ancient Secrets, we don't just tell history, we bring it back to life.